Welcome to the Career Refresh Podcast. I'm your host, Jill Griffin. Join me each week as we discuss the strategies to reset your career with actionable steps towards a finer future. I've spent my career working my way up and through the ranks of global organizations and startups. Today, I show others how to do the same. I'm on a mission to help professionals everywhere learn how to refresh and manage their minds so they can thrive in their careers. Ready? Let's do it. Hey there, and welcome back. I'm so glad that you are here, and I want to thank you all for the emails and the texts and the feedbacks on the podcast so far. I love hearing from all of you, and I love even more that you're enjoying what you're hearing. So thank you. I want to talk today about a topic that I discuss with many of my clients. It's something that many of them experience, and it's decision making. It's when you get a bad case of the I don't knows, that part of decision making. And my clients know by now with working with me that they're not allowed to say I don't know. It's true. They can't say I don't know. And they always laugh and go, I know I'm not supposed to say I don't know. Right. Because you know what? While it may not always be obvious, you do have an inkling. You do know. And here's the trigger warning, my friends. Confusion and I don't knows, it's a choice. You may be thinking it's not. You may be thinking that it's just happening to you and you don't know, or that it's real and that like you're in a fog and you can't get out of it. And I'm guessing you probably know people who are always ruminating on the same decision. It's like they're caught in this loop of constantly making thoughts around a decision and then thinking about a decision, but they actually don't make a decision. And they continue to ask everyone around them for their opinion. Should I move? Which is better? New York? Should I go to Austin? Should I stay in this job? Should I get a next one? But what if the next one is bad? It's this constant I don't know syndrome. And when you're confused and you delay decision making, you think there's a right decision that you're going to figure out. And then if you spend enough time thinking about the decision, or if you get enough feedback from friends, families, mentors, your coach, you'll figure out the right answer. As if the answer will, surprise, arrive. It doesn't. It's totally delusional thinking. And it's really painfully untrue that this is going to happen. Often, the longer we sit in our dirty diaper of indecision, the harder it is to make a decision. Many people, confusion and indecision are comfortable, and not like cashmere, blanky, velvet ottoman comfortable, but more comfortable than being responsible for making a decision that you'll have to live with. You are fearful of how you think you'll feel if you make a decision that you later think was the wrong decision. So staying safe in your dirty diaper is the discomfort you do know versus having to experience a whole new level of discomfort that may come with a new decision. So in the meantime, you don't make a decision. You stay confused about what to do. And if you're not making decisions, then you surely can't be making the wrong one, but you also don't grow. So you stay in the job. You stay in indecision, you don't create new experiences, and you don't learn how to manage your mind. And for me, that's the biggest tragedy of it all, because learning how to manage my mind was the key to freedom and my success. It was the highest level of agency that I could experience. And before I learned how to wrangle my brain, I thought that if I could manage my confusion by waiting for a definitive sign or new piece of information to show me what to do, then I would know. So gathering facts is important, but I realized that I was hoping that that data, that new data, was going to make me feel good or better about my decision. And data doesn't make me feel good. Data doesn't make you feel good. Data doesn't make anyone feel good. It's your thoughts about the data. Only your thought about the data is what can make you feel a certain way. So here's what usually happens. When you think that a future choice may mean future drama, you are stuck in indecision because you are either, wait for it, trying to predict a future event, trying to predict your future thoughts about an unpredictable future event, and or trying to determine how you'll manage your mind around your unpredictable thoughts around an unpredictable event. That's a lot of predicting. I'm tired just saying it. Are you tired doing it? It's exhausting. You don't make a decision because you think the future decision will create a feeling that you either won't know how to deal with or you won't know how to manage. And this happens because you don't realize that you can control your brain. And circumstances or situations that are external to ourselves don't create our feelings. Your thoughts do. So it's kind of funny because how can you possibly think of every scenario that could go wrong, to think of how you'd predict your future, to think how you'd manage your feelings? You can't. And you fall into the I don't knows, or what I call the IDK syndrome. And it's a sign of an unmanaged mind. You are accepting the IDKs in the now, in the present, and you are believing that you will also not know how to manage your brain in the future. It's like saying, I may have a thought and feeling I don't know about, and it's something I can't predict, and I won't know how to handle it, so I won't make a decision right now because I won't know. So today's uncomfortability wins against tomorrow's uncertainty. Ugh, it's no wonder you don't want to make a decision. So, ready for the best news ever? You get to decide to make a choice and to choose your thoughts and to choose your feelings. So by now you're probably thinking, okay, Jill, so how do I actually do this? Let's get clear on what a decision is. A decision is a committed thought with a committed action. And I love when someone says to me, oh, I decided to leave this job last year, and then reveals that they haven't taken any action because they didn't want to make the wrong decision. My friend, you didn't make a decision. You didn't decide anything. You had lots of thoughts, but you didn't take an action. Again, a decision is a committed thought with a committed action. A decision is, I'm going to leave this job by the end of the year, and I'm going to make 5 networking outreaches calls each week. See, it's a thought, I'm going to leave this job, and an action, I'm going to make 5 networking calls or outreaches each week. Ready for my reco on how to get out of indecision? Step 1, don't allow yourself to wallow in the IDK syndrome. Ask yourself, what if I did know? Step 2, ask better questions. When you get better questions, you get better answers. So you ask the better question and then you answer your own question. Hal Gregerson talks about this in his book, Questions Are the Answer. It's a really great read. I recommend. So example, instead of asking yourself, should I questions, which feels a bit weak and a bit wobbly, ask yourself, what should I do, which comes from a place of power, and then answer the question. So instead of saying to yourself, how can I get a new job? Ask yourself, what can I do to find a new job? Do you see the difference? There's a different energy and feeling when you come from the place of power and asking yourself a better question. Step 3, know that you are not making a decision because you are having a thought like, I don't know what to do, which creates confusion. And confusion only exists until you make a decision. When you are tempted to say, I don't know, pause, neutralize the thought. Say to yourself, I'm learning to figure this out. I'm going to figure out what I want to do. Once I make a decision, I will not be confused anymore. Do you see the difference in that energy? Step 4, you don't have to have all the facts to make a decision. You don't have to know what someone else is thinking. You get to decide right now, how do you want to think and feel regardless of what someone else is doing or thinking. So if your thought is, I don't know if I should wait to hear if I'm the candidate for this internal promotion or do I look for another job, you get to decide right now if you are going to wait until the end of the quarter. And if you don't hear back by that deadline, you are then going to pursue another opportunity. This doesn't come from a victim-y drama mama place, but from a place of possibility. Again, you've made a thought, you have a committed action. That's a decision. Or if you don't hear by that deadline, by the end of the quarter, you may decide that you're going to reset the timeline and give it more time, and you're clear and you're making that decision. But you gave yourself the gift of decision, the gift of a managed mind. It's freedom, my friends, because you are not constantly re-questioning your decision every day. And remember, that wouldn't be a decision because if you haven't committed to a thought and an action, it's not a decision. You will free up so much mental space. You are not in decision fatigue. You are now choosing that you are going to wait to the end of the quarter before you look elsewhere. You now get to focus on the job in front of you, be your best self, show up every day because you've made the commitment that you are not going to readdress this until the end of the quarter. And if the decision you want to make is around another person and you feel confused by how they're behaving, you get to make a decision right now how you will respond, what you'll do, and not be wishy-washy. You're not going to wait for them to make you feel a certain way because they can't make you feel a certain way. Only you can make yourself feel a certain way. You don't need to get them. You don't need to understand them. You don't need to know the Queen's Gambit opening in order to know how to play it. You don't. You get to choose. How is it possible? You choose, you decide, because no one can make you feel any way. You make yourself feel a certain way. This is why people on reality shows need coaches, because they think that someone else has made them feel bad. Nope, get a coach, manage your mind. But I digress. Step 5. There are no wrong decisions. If you don't like the results and the feelings you've created, manage your mind and choose again. To recap, I don't know is a thought, and we get to choose our thoughts. There may be a teeny whisper of an idea in there. If not, ask yourself questions or get a coach. You don't need to know how someone else thinks or feels in order to create your results and in order for you to make decisions. This is your career, silly. It's your life. You get to know how you want to feel, even if you don't know how to get there just yet. Get quiet. Get curious. Follow that curiosity. I bet you do know. That's what I have for you, my friends. Send your questions to hello@JillGriffinConsulting. I love answering them, and I may even answer your question on a future podcast. Until next time. Hey, thanks for listening to the Career Refresh podcast. If you're enjoying this podcast and you want more career and mindset tips, get on my email list by going to jillgriffincoaching.com. I'll also put that link in the show notes. But before you go, please rate and review this podcast as it helps me get the word out to people everywhere so they can thrive in the workplace. I'll see you next time.